no!
Hey everybody, it's Andy Kushner, host of the Wedding Biz, and this is another episode of The Next Level, in which I have a guest co-host, and together we talk about the most recent interview of the week and help suss out some of the key topics and translate them into some specific tactical strategies you can use to bring your own business to the next level. And without any further ado, today's guest co-host is Darren Olarsch of On Move Entertainment. Hey, Darren.
Hey, Andy. What's going on?
Man, good to have you on the show again.
Great to be back.
Yeah, because those of you listening, if you don't know, Darren founded his company On Move Entertainment in 1993. It is an event production company specializing in entertainment, and Darren was on the show July 15th of 2019. It was an awesome conversation, so I'm going to put a link in the show notes. I really recommend checking that out. And so the guest that we're going to be talking about today is part 2 with Norma Cohen of Norma Cohen Productions. She is a powerhouse. She has planned numerous events at New York City's most iconic spaces and Europe's most luxurious destinations. Again, this is a part 2 with Norma. So Darren, right up front in the beginning, I loved how she started to talk about how she is really working on, as she's saying, eliminating all the negative energies out of her life. And she's talking about, trying to get rid of people that has a bad attitude, who might be talented, but as a result, her sanity is better. And, it's really taken a lot of her strength to be able to do this, but she's so much less stressed. And life is changing for her, like the law of attraction, right? You attract better people. You work with Norma a great deal. Mm-hmm. What do you think about how she talked about that?
Yeah, I mean, even in the last couple of years, I've seen her evolution. I mean, she's a sweetheart to work with, and everybody that works with her has a sort of understanding that she's got faith in you as her vendor. So she knows how to take the best out of people. So that faith that she gives in you means that she's expecting you to deliver without having to ask all the questions, and I think that's what she means also about having these negative things go away and having all positive. She doesn't want to hear about the problems. She only wants to hear the solutions. And so she counts on her vendors to present solutions, not problems. And we learned that the hard way. In the beginning, we would push back. But after we learned, now we just help. If she says, I need this to be there, we move it.
What I love too about what you're saying is how she got to the point where, right, you went through that process of learning how each other works. And now it's at the point where she trusts you. She trusts her creative partners, which I think is a great place to be able to get. And, for us who are, I like to call vendors creative partners, those of us who are doing that, I think there is that process. I think that's normal with any planner and designer who we're working with, is to learn how do they work? What are their expectations? And I love if it's possible somehow to talk about those expectations ahead of time so that we could, deal with challenges that come up in the moment.
Yeah, well, I see it a lot because her community that she does most of her events with, both locally and internationally, it's a very, very unique community. They have their own set of rules for a lot of things. So if you're from outside of that community, you have to learn those ways. And so Norma has always been amazing about helping. She's your creative partner in the truest sense. We play music, we entertain. Her sense of entertainment's value to an event is uncanny, beyond what other planners I think even get a minuscule involved with. She's involved. She's involved with all of her vendors. She's not a one-woman show, but I've seen other planners that come to an event, a major event, with literally 15, 20, like a squad. Yeah. Norma comes with herself, maybe one other person.
Jeez.
And this is 600, 700, 800 guests. These are multifaceted events that are just so mind-boggling. And she just kills it by herself. So I don't think all the other planners even understand sort of the scope of what she produces and the quantity.
Well, but that's giving, credit to the team that she puts together of creative partners, of vendors, that it's all about that.
Right. And that goes back to what you're saying about the faith. So now she finds these vendors. She's so faithful to her vendors. And that's why we continue to do a lot of work, because once you're there and you're helping and you're on the same page, it does make it easier for her because she has an expectation, a very high expectation of how we deliver.
Yeah. She also talked about color and lighting and how crucial it is to an event. And I like how she said it. I love this. She said, if you don't have lighting, you can't see the beauty you've created, that every flower has to be illuminated. And so, need a lighting company that understands your vision, because so much also is in the moment, which was interesting. And same thing, I would say lighting on the band is obviously huge. And she talked about how she likes to stand near the lighting console and give instructions so that she's orchestrating it in the moment. I mean, I've rarely seen that before.
Oh yeah, I agree, and believe me, and it's funny that you guys got into lighting as a topic, because you could have talked about 100 other topics that she does the same thing for. Yeah. Literally, I was at an event a few months ago, and I saw her on her phone. She was deep in thought. I go, "What you doing?" She was finding a bagel store open at midnight in Manhattan that had mini bagels, because there were no mini bagels that were supposed to be mini, not large. And I go, out of everything you're effing doing tonight, you're on the phone finding mini bagels? But 5 minutes later, she'll be over at the lighting booth going, that should be blue, not green. Right. So it's amazing. Yeah. But, we as entertainers, how many parties have we been to? How many weddings have we been to where the band is in the dark? You're like, oh my God, let me go to my truck and pull out a couple lights.
Oh, yeah.
There's never that issue on a Norma party. Norma parties are lit like the most extravagant production, Broadway, like the Grammys. It's that intricate. And so most of her events are also preset on multiple days.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, we've even had our bands come and do sound checks on prior days just for lighting cues too.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. Wow. Yeah. And I mean, because she talked about, in a minute, we're going to talk about how, she brought up the whole thing about music, but she also talked about how the lighting has to match the music and the tempo.
Yeah.
I love that she's aware of that.
And she's open to us talking about that too, because we will script a little bit. We're very loose with our music, but we do script some things. So we'll have meetings and we'll talk about which ones are the up tempo, which are down. Where are we taking sort of that journey throughout the night?
Wow.
So she could tell the lighting guys. Or we know all her lighting vendors now too, so they're friends now too. So we could say to them, "Hey guys, we're going to be going into this in 5 minutes. Get ready."
That's awesome. Well, and talking about music, I love this. I know you're going to love it too. She talked about, that she feels there's a whole new love of bands again, of having bands.
Oh yeah.
And she said, because she feels musicians are getting better, sounding more like a record. I agree with that, though I also think that, obviously the way I think that's very important. There's more to it too. It's being able to work with the party, to be able to create that energy and that experience and a bond to bring everybody together. A great, brilliant DJ, an MC can definitely do that. But the energy of a band,
mm-hmm.
I don't think there's anything like it.
Yeah, we cracked the code. And it's all because of my partner, Troy. Troy is so now entrenched in Norma's community. And his band, the Troy Curtis Band, right now is in such demand in that community because it took Norma's feedback. And even in this last episode you did with her, she talked about a band that got basically shut off after 5 minutes. That was us, and it was tough, and we couldn't understand it. But the bride wanted the hot DJ music that was pumping, and Norma works with a great crew of DJs that are amazing. These two brothers that are just fantastic DJs, and we work with them all the time now. But Troy figured it out. Okay. That community and Norma's parties, they need live music that does have more oomph. And so some of the secret sauce that we've been putting into those parties involve pre-producing additional sounds to accompany the live music to give it more depth. Not to mention the fact that we also sometimes have 30 to 40 piece orchestras on these events, so it's full enough.
Yeah.
But but it's also the music. And Troy figured out they don't want like the typical party that maybe you and I are accustomed to playing, played out top 40 music that is the same music from party after party. This community is much more savvy.
That's interesting.
And Norma helped us, and Norma and Troy specifically figured out musically what resonates with the community. And that's the game changer. They see it, and now they want it every part.
And because we're talking about a Jewish, very Orthodox community. What is the game changer? What kind of music? What are we talking about? In addition to making the sounds better, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Besides the technical production, and again, we have a guy named Gabe, and Gabe is our senior MD, and he does all his live production. I see it on his screens. I'm like, wow, what are you doing? But no, the musically, really, I guess if I had to sum it up, it's like the best B-sides from any record you could have ever had. So they don't necessarily want the A, they like the B's. So they recognize this music, and it's an eclectic list. It could go from the Rolling Stones to an Elton John song to like a 70s disco song, but not 70s disco cheesy, played out 70s. It's like a really deep 70s song that you're like, wow, I love this song. I haven't heard it in 10 years.
Wow. That's interesting when you say they're so savvy. You know, she also talked about building, how she loves building when she has the opportunity in the space. She loves building great stages.
Oh, the best.
And and that's another thing too, Darren. It's like, occasionally I see a really nice stage, but not as much as I'd like to. I mean, I think that stage, not just because I have a music company, it's not just that, but that's where all the focus for the second half of the night is all there. Why not do something visually with it?
I know. And you know what, I'm going to talk about two things with this. Number one, Norma mentioned an amazing event that we did together in Anguilla. She says Anguilla, I say Anguilla. I think we're both right. They opened the night. I don't know if I'm giving away too much because I'm not saying who the client is, but the first opening night, because there were 4 nights of celebration.
Yeah.
It was Dancing in the Moonlight was the theme.
Okay.
And this incredible, I mean, it looked like, honestly, it was like the Emmys and the Grammys. It was like an EGOT stage. And our stage was built with a round platform with a moon in the middle of each stage. So there were several levels, probably 6 or 7 levels.
What do you mean by a moon? What do you mean?
So there was a round platform.
Yeah.
Our musicians performed on like the ring of Saturn.
Oh, whoa.
And the middle had a moon, like a globe.
Yeah.
But there were like 6 or 7 of these in different sizes and levels.
Huh.
So we were literally dancing in the moonlight, and our 20-piece band was spread across these stages, and it was gorgeous.
Wow. That knocks me out. That's really well, and that is definitely an opportunity for planners and designers, is do something with the stage or have it change. Was it in that shape the entire night, or was it a certain part of the night that they?
No, that was just that, but that was the whole night. But that was just one night. Don't forget there were 4 nights.
Oh, right, there you go. So that was like the theme.
I don't even tell you about the night 2 and 3 because they got better and better.
Wow, that's fantastic.
But you know what she's done though, and just to play on one thing,
sure.
that I think other people in the entertainment business can probably pick up on this. Our wardrobe, like. Our wardrobe has amassed to this incredible inventory because of Norma. Norma really showed us how to change and adapt to her looks, her stages, her designs with her designers that she works with. So, and we have a creative director, her name is Rocky. Rocky has worked with Norma directly on wardrobe, that we have looks now that we could present to other clients now. That's amazing, but it's really from Norma's creativity that we got all these looks.
So how did she do it? Did she literally, say, hey, I'd like whatever, these colors and, this kind of vibe?
Yep. And we present a lookbook and she approves it. And she says, I don't want that white. I want this beige, that kind of thing.
It's interesting with our clients, with my company, we always bring up outfits, always, between the planner and the client too. I want the client, if they're involved and I have a chance to talk to them, I want to hear from them as well. And we have a few choices, but I love how it's making me think. I love how Norma takes it to a whole other level of dimension with the outfits. And again, why not? And I do, Darren, when you and I got on the show, when you were on, I think we touched on this a little bit. People now in this decade expect to have presentations, even at a wedding, a bar mitzvah, whatever, corporate party, like they see on TV. And I remember, because I had done some really wild stuff way back some decades ago, like in Vegas. And I remember it scared people. Like, oh, we don't want a band that does Vegas. Now, oh yeah, they want a band that does Vegas. I mean, sure. People want that look. They want that level of entertainment, don't they? You finding that too?
Yeah. No, I agree. And I think, there's a difference between a coordinated stock look versus a custom look. So Norma's actually elevated that game where it's even about designer. She might want Tom Ford on the guys and might want and so it really gets, I'm not even kidding. But by the way, you and I are both in the entertainment business and we're talking about music. Let's not forget Norma parties and the design and that element is way even beyond the music. It's what the servers are wearing. It's what the valet guys out front are wearing. I mean, everything everything on Norma parties have a coordinated effort. I mean, down from linens that, I remember one time we showed her a look for the wardrobe and she says, no, it's too close to my linens. Like there's things that it's beyond. Yeah.
Wow. Oh, I love the attention to detail. Well, that is all we have time for today. But Darren, man, I want to thank you for being on the show and helping with this. Thank you so much.
Of course, man. Anytime.
And, for all of you to check out Darren, his website is onthemove.com. His social media handles with Instagram and Facebook is On The Move Events. All of this is in the show notes at theweddingbiz.com. And let me also remind you about Norma's site, and it's normacohenproductions.com. Her social media handle is Norma Cohen Productions as well. And be sure to subscribe to The Wedding Biz so you get notifications when new episodes come out. And again, want to thank you, Darren, and we'll catch you all next week on The Wedding Biz.